Hello and welcome. I'm Anand Naidu, sitting in for Riz Khan. Today's guest dreamt of being an actor since childhood and went on to become a legend. After graduating with degrees in math and physics, Omar Sharif launched his acting career in Egypt and then broke into Hollywood with roles in major productions like Lawrence of Arabia and, of course, Dr. Zhivago. That movie, Dr. Zhivago, was initially panned by the critics, but it's now considered a classic. Sharif played Russian poet and doctor Yuri Zhivago, who falls in love with his mistress, Lara, during the Bolshevik Revolution. The film cemented his reputation as an accomplished actor with a twist of mystique and massive sex appeal. Sharif has gone on to act in dozens of Egyptian and Western productions. He was widely acclaimed for his role as a Muslim shopkeeper who befriends a young Jewish boy in Paris in the movie Monsieur Ibrahim. Omar Sharif joins us from Paris. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Hi.
Let me ask.
I just want to wish you a Ramadan Kareem and a happy feast coming up.
And best wishes to you too. I want to ask
Go
you
ahead.
first about what I've just talked about, and that was Dr. Zhivago. It was panned by the critics, yet now it's considered a classic. It's a masterpiece, in fact. Why was it initially considered
Yes.
a bad movie by the critics?
Well, basically because when we finished shooting on the 16th of October 1965, and the film had to come out for the Oscars in December. And the director, who is a great director and great editor, did not have a lot of time to edit the film properly. And when the film came out and the critics came on the opening night, the film was not well edited, not well cut. And it didn't do well at all. It didn't even make money at that time for 2 weeks. Then the director recut the film, fixed it, and from the moment he started sending the new copies to the cinemas, it made a fortune.
Yes, it was.
And the film was much better than when it came out.
It was a box office hit after that. Let's go back to the beginning. If the biographers are to be believed, you came from a wealthy family, so you were a wealthy guy and a good-looking guy. So in some respects, you were doubly blessed. Did you see it that way?
Very lucky. I was very lucky. I was also very lucky to have a very good family. You know, I think now I realize how important it is to have a mother and a father who are not divorced, who live together, who love their children and who spend a lot of time with them. And I think that I was very fortunate to have this dad and this mom. And my mother actually was responsible. I would not have been an actor. I would not have been sitting here in front of this television if it went for my mother, who was a kind of crazy woman, who decided when I was born that I was going to be the most handsome and the most famous man in the world. And she sent me first to a French school in Cairo. And at age 11, I became fat. And my mother was very upset about my being fat. And she said, my son is ugly, I can't stand it. And she decided that the only way to make me get thin is to send me to an English boarding school. And she sent me to an English boarding school where King Hussein actually was also a student. And within 1 year, because she decided that the worst food in the world was the English food. That was her imagination. And so I went to an English boarding school. I got thin. I played sports. There was a theater at school. I learned English, and I learned to love the theater. And if not, I would have been a fat Levantine timber merchant like my father.
Well, despite the bad food, look at Omar Sharif today. Let's look at your early career. You were in Egypt. Your first movie was The Blazing Sun. In fact, you ended up marrying.
Yes.
Yes, you ended up marrying the co-star. That was in 1953.
The leading lady.
How did you
Yes.
break into movies initially in Egypt?
I've always been extremely lucky in my life. I must thank God for it, or the stars. It's because I decided I wanted to be an actor, and I tried to join the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London, and I was about to leave to study acting when I met Yusuf Shaheen, who was a very famous director in Egypt, and he asked me to play this part, which was a leading part with the most famous Egyptian Arab actress, I guess, in all the Arab world. And the film was a great success. It went to the Cannes Film Festival, and it got me known to Europeans and to American people. And from then on, everything went well for me. And even for Lawrence of Arabia, I didn't ask to be an international actor. I was very happily married with my wife. I had a beautiful home. I had already my son Tariq, and I wanted to have a big family and be happy ever after. And then they came all the way from Hollywood to ask me to go and make Lawrence of Arabia. And you know, I'm not sure. You can never guess what would have happened if this hadn't happened to me, because maybe I would have been a happier man. You know, I've been divorced since 1966, 41 years, and I've lived alone ever since. I never remarried because I had my son with me, and I didn't want my son to have his father's wife looking around the corner at him. And so I might have been happier just to stay in Egypt. I was a star. I had a good family. I loved my wife. I had a son. I wanted more children. I wanted to have a huge family. And in fact, when going to America and becoming famous, it gave me glory, but it gave me loneliness also, and a lot of missing my own land and my own people and my own country. And the reason I made this Musalsal for Ramadan, it's a story about myself. It's about an Egyptian who is living in New York. He's very famous as an architect, but he misses Egypt and he misses the Arab world.
Okay, let's go to the phones. We got a caller here from Cairo. Joey in Cairo. What's your question?
Hi, Omar. I want to tell you congratulations about the Musalsal in Ramadan. I saw that in London, and I come to Cairo to collect. It's very nice. It's lovely, lovely. I'm very happy you're back again.
Thank you. I put my whole heart in it. Thank you, darling. I put everything in my heart in it because I thought it might be the last thing I will do, you know, for my Arab people and for my compatriots, to do something that makes them happy during Ramadan. But in fact, I'm going to make another Egyptian film in November, a movie film, which is produced by the Ministry of Culture, and it's a very good story, and it's a feature film, and I'm very happy to be doing it.
Thank you, Joey, for your call. Omar, you've played many parts in your career. You've played a New York Jew. You've played, let's see, a Russian poet. You've also played a German.
During the 6-Day War. Excuse me.
That's right. Yeah, funny girl.
I played.
Yeah, but was shot during the 6-Day War.
Yes, I played a German as well.
You played a German officer, and you're versatile. You've played those parts so well. But nowadays, what kind of parts are you being offered? I read somewhere that some of the parts you're being offered is always a part that calls for an old Arab man. Does that bother you?
No, it doesn't at all. I mean, you know, when it's a good part, it's a good part. Whether you're an old Arab man or you're a Chinese man, it doesn't matter. But lately, I've been asked to do some biblical films. I must tell you, I played the father-in-law of Moses in the Ten Commandments for television, for our television thing, and I got very good notices for it. In fact, I was the only actor probably who got good notices in that particular film. I don't think it was extremely good, but anyway, for me it was good. I played also a film, I played Saint Peter, which got me a lot of angry reactions from some from Al-Qaeda, but we made it up. I mean, you know, we corresponded. I corresponded with them and explained to them that I'm an actor and that I read the script, I learn the lines, and I speak what I'm told to say.
Well, we have a viewer here who's been obviously watching what you had to say about marriage and divorce. This is Joan from Virginia here in the United States.
Yes.
And this is her email. She says, do you think the reason you never remarried is because you are too narcissistic and can't share your life with others?
Well, basically, I never fell in love with another woman. And I cannot have a relationship with a woman if I'm not in love. I am a very particular person. I'm not very much interested in short adventures with women or with girls. I have to fall in love with someone in order to have a relationship with her. And strangely enough, because I lived abroad in hotels and restaurants and not in Egypt, I think that basically I could not have ever fallen in love with a woman who was not an Egyptian woman. Strangely enough, I think that's really, when I analyze myself now, I know that I need this kind of mentality that the Egyptian woman has, the kind of humor that we have with each other, the kind of behavior we share. And it's very difficult to fall in love with a foreign, girl who is not of the same. I mean, we don't have the same culture. We don't have the same tastes. We don't like the same food. We don't share a lot of things. It's very difficult to love someone with whom you don't share everything in life.
So for you, if you like a woman a lot, you either marry her or you become good friends with her.
Good friends, I have been very often with women, but I never went further than being good friends. I just want to make this clear. Of course, I lived alone for a long time, so I had sort of short things, just health saving stuff. But otherwise, I never really met any girl that I wanted to live with, even for 2 days.
You were exiled from Egypt at one time. How did that happen?
No, I was not exiled from Egypt. I didn't go back to Egypt for a very simple reason. Because in the time of Nasser, we needed an exit visa to leave from Egypt. I never changed my passport. My passport was always Egyptian. I was offered millions of passports, including Monaco. They offered me a Monaco with no taxes for life. I refused it. No, the thing it was that I had contracts to make films in America, and I was afraid to go back to Egypt and then not be allowed to go out again and make my films, because they would say you have been working with Jewish people or something like that. As you know, all the people in Hollywood are mostly Jewish, the film industry and the press and the media. And so you have to make a decision. Either you decide not to become an actor internationally, or to go on with your career, and you have to concentrate on it. The moment that I met Sadat in the White House, I was invited to dinner at the White House with Gerald Ford, and I met Sadat, and Sadat hugged me and kissed me, and he said, "It's impossible, you have to come to Cairo. We miss you, you are our son, you are our brother, you are everything for us." And he brought me back, not because he said to me that we have no more exit visa. You can go out and in as much as you like. And now I live mostly in Egypt. My son has a beautiful house. We have a beautiful family. I have a little grandson called Karim and an older grandson called Omar. And now I have a family life in Egypt. I have in my son's house, he has a suite for me and a bathroom, and I'm very happy when I go to Egypt. That's the only time I'm really happy.
Well, the question of being Jewish or being Arab has never been an issue for you, because your son was married to a Jewish woman, then he married a Catholic woman, and then he married a Muslim woman. So you have a Jewish grandchild.
Yes, now he has been 10 years, yes.
You have a Jewish grandchild, and
yes.
You have a
No, he's not. My grandchild is not Jewish. My big grandson, Omar, is not Jewish at all. He's Muslim. He's the son of a Muslim, and he's a Muslim. He comes to visit me. We visit him. I brought him to London. He's studying at the London School of Economics. He's doing his master's, and he has nothing that is Jewish about him except the fact that he respects his mother. His mother's religion is the Jewish religion. My son divorced when he was 1.5 years old, and so they separate. The tribunals gave the custody to his mother, and we didn't get a lot of seeing him for a few years. But when he grew up a bit, we became responsible. He goes to see Fatin. He visits Fatin, his grandmother, every year, at least 2 or 3 months. He's with us.
Okay, Omar, let's go to another caller. This is Sarah from Sweden. Sarah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
My name is Sarah. I'm calling from
Hi,
Sweden.
Sarah.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I love you.
Hi.
And thank you for being you. And you're a great, great person. Oh, I can't talk. I'm just so excited.
You're very sweet.
Thank you for just great performance.
You sound like someone who is. You sound like you're somebody beautiful as well.
Thanks a lot.
Well, Sarah,
your voice is beautiful anyway.
What do you say?
Sarah, very nervous there. Omar, thank you, Sarah, for your call. After all these years, you're still the heartthrob, I see.
Thank you.
Do people still recognize you everywhere you go?
I know. Yes, they do, because you know, because although I'm getting older, of course, I don't look like I used to look. I'm 75.5 years old, but they see me now and then on television, in film, so they see how I aged already. It's not a surprise. For instance, for me, it's very difficult when I meet somebody I haven't seen for many years, who is not an actor. I have a hard time remembering him because he's changed, and I haven't followed his physical change. And so they always think I know them, I remember them, but I don't. They remember me because they see me all the time, but I don't remember a lot of people, unfortunately.
We just have a few seconds left. I was wondering if you could tell us, what was the last movie you worked on?
The last thing I did was this Musalsal, which took me 8 months of my life. I learned 850 pages of Arabic dialogue, which is quite tough for me. And that's the last thing I did. And the next thing I'm going to do is another Egyptian film, which is very interesting. It's a sort of thing for festivals. It's a very great director. It's produced by our Minister of Culture and the government. They're paying for it. But it's a feature film, and I like it very much. I'm going to go and do it in November. In a few days, I'm leaving.
Omar, that's where we have to leave it. It's been great talking to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for wanting me on your program.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for being with us. On the next show, we speak with one of the world's most beautiful women, Ethiopian supermodel Leah Kebede, about her efforts to combat maternal and child deaths worldwide. Don't forget, if you have any thoughts about pressing issues around the world, send us your email. Send them to riz@aljazeera.net. See you next time. Street Talk is next.